Welcome back to Meet You at Breakfast. I am Ben here with the full crew, Brian, Dylan, and Julia, to talk about episode 8 of season 4 of Traitors US. And I think we talked about, last week, or at least I mentioned last week, I thought that was like the Rob Roush, like, coronation episode. This felt like, that part 2 for me. Mm-hmm. So I think that's kind of be a big thing that we talk about here is, Rob as a player, as a character, where he's going to kind of land as far as the Traitors, the Traitors history goes.
Yeah, these faithfuls do not deserve to win. They like, Rob is just sweeping it every single episode, and no one's suspecting him. Like, I mean, I think even Eric's expression at the very end says it all, that not a single person is expecting him. And like Candace, I think she probably kind of had a feeling one way or another that it could potentially be her. So she was dropping major hints, and I think these people are still just not going to pick up on it. So at this point, just give Rob the win, because
I think at this point it's just going to be a question of whether he wins solo or we're going to do it with Eric.
I think if Rob wins this season, I think he instantly gets up there for one of my favorite recent reality TV competition players. I think it's above anybody in New Era Survivor, honestly. I am in love and in lust with Rob. I can't really fully explain it. The way I describe him to people is he is just an immaculate specimen on this earth. Seems very chill. I think he played everything perfectly tonight. I think Candace did. I flip-flopped on this, Ben. You definitely swayed me in the what I think is the right direction. I think Candace had arguably the worst performance of the season in this episode, outside of Natalie, who I think continues to just be terrible at this game. Candace, I didn't think it would be this easy for Rob to outmaneuver, and I think upon second watch that was very clear to me. I actually thought, when I watched it for the first time, I thought that she had actually got off to a good start in this episode. But the more I thought about the murder and the more I thought about how everything else unfolded the rest of the episode, I think that she either wanted to go home and was not willing to put up the greatest, smartest fight for it, or she severely underestimated or overestimated herself and underestimated how much Rob is beloved in that house. Yeah. And how easily he can be viewed as a traitor. And I think that everything she did in this episode only helped him. I don't think anything that she did hurt him at all, really. Obviously, naturally, as we get less and less people in the house, more heat will come on him eventually. But I don't think that he could have come out of this better than I thought he could have after last week. I thought that he would at least be fighting for it a little bit more after this episode, but it doesn't seem like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Candace thought that she was in a better place because they murdered Colton. And I think Rob basically just sacrificed Colton to kind of get the ball rolling on going after Candace. So I think in her brain, she was like, great, we're going to get out Colton. And at that point, she didn't even know that he had thrown out her name, which is crazy that she found that out after the fact. But I think in her brain, she's like, great, this he's close to Rob. He is kind of a pot stirrer. We're getting him out, and that's good for us. In reality, I think that as much as I disliked Colton, I don't think that was the right person, because, I mean, he probably was still going to go for Candace anyways, but he also took a lot of attention away from other people. So.
Yeah, I mean, comparing this to because Rob, we've seen, especially in the earlier episodes, a big chess player. I think this was very much like a gambit, like a queen sacrifice kind of play from Rob, where you had this much better player and this kind of less experienced player, and the much better player is setting up this queen sacrifice, and then the more rookie player kind of bites onto it because it looks good in the immediate, without realizing that it's they're giving up some kind of positional advantage that leads to a checkmate. And that's very much what it felt like to me, because if we're looking at kind of the layout of the game, Rob has a dagger still. He has this Dagger 6 alliance that he formed. It's now Dagger 5 without Colton. And he has like the narrative advantage against Candace in terms of her actions, where he can go to this Dagger Alliance and be like, look, it's clear that the traitors are outside of our alliance and they're taking shots at us. We have to bunker down and be strong together. And they have the numbers even without Colton with the dagger. He's able to get a narrative win on Candace in terms of like her coming after him now makes way less sense with the Colton murder. There's just so many pieces here where it makes so much sense for him to let go of Colton here. And I loved it. I literally right after the breakfast scene where it was revealed that Colton was the murderer, I paused the episode and I was like, this is horrible for Candace, and this is really awesome for Rob. Like what a play to like see the path forward with allowing this to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had the opposite reaction at first, as you know. I thought it was a great move for her at first, but I think when you sit back and look at it, like you said, it was a sacrifice for Rob that was necessary. One, he was going to have to do it eventually because as we said, it would have been a horrible for him to recruit Colton. It would have been really bad for his gameplay if that occurred. And I think that not only does this kind of like take the guilt away from Rob, it's a good move for him because as it's been clearly laid out, Rob and Colton were close. So why would Rob, if he was a traitor, murder Colton willingly? And that was not something I was really necessarily thinking about in the moment. And it really is. It's a chess move. It's like he's playing the long game. That's what and he laid it out in this episode too. Like he's playing a game. This is not personal for him. This is kind of more of what we have wanted from these competition shows. It's what we wanted a lot more in Survivor, that you need to take, although a lot of these games, when it comes to social, you need to have the human element, like you need to have empathy and all that. And it's understandable how that can go into how someone's playing. But I think in the end, if you want to win this game, you need to play it purely as a game. Candace clearly was not able to do that, especially to the level that Rob is doing. I do think that's unfortunate because I thought that Candace was a decent kind of like B team traitor. I thought that obviously with Lisa was really kind of the front for, like, Lisa was driving with Candace in the passenger seat, even though obviously maybe Lisa was more so her personality kind of allowed her to be a good traitor, but ultimately that was her undoing too because she couldn't like balance both with everybody. Whereas I never really felt like Candace was the driving force in really any of the moves they did. Like her conga line was really like kind of her big standout moment as a traitor. Obviously, they've had pretty good kills to this point, so I can't say that was all Lisa and Rob and Mrs. Kelsey, but yeah, I guess I'm just disappointed because I thought that Candace, what has been built up to me, I thought that it would be a much more nasty, but it turned out it was really like she either didn't have a full grasp on the game, she ruined her own game, and she wanted desperately to ruin Rob's game, which clearly overshadowed everything else for her. So really bad gameplay. But that's what I said last week. The give and take with these shows is if we want the drama, we want kind of some of the old school reality TV now. We need to get non-gamers in there to take some of these things personally. So it's kind of the give and take. And I'm definitely happy it played out the way it did. I think Candace taking out Rob would have been a shocking turn for this season. And I don't really know where they would go from there. So I'm very, very happy Rob's still in this game.
Yeah. And like, even going back to like the Faithfuls just not getting it, like they were having a face off at the round table and she was like going in on him and like she was setting this narrative of him. And then she ends up being banished as a traitor. Is nobody going to look back and be like, why was she going so hard at Rob all of a sudden? And she ended up being a traitor. I don't think any of them are going to make that connection because they're all so entranced by Rob. And it's almost like it's a toxic relationship and they don't want to believe that he's bad. Like
well, yeah, we see at the end like Eric and Kristen talking and they like briefly like consider it for like half a second. They're like, no, sweet baby boy Rob.
Yeah. What did Kristen say? She was like, not my man Rob. Like Rob's too nice. Rob's too like whatever. And then I'm like, exactly. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's a testament to how good he is. That like it's very, very difficult in these games to be that like flagrantly cutthroat and like to an almost sociopathic degree while coming off like you're like a good innocent person. Like it's like extremely difficult to like thread that line, and he's doing a very good job at it.
Right. I mean, I will say if I was in the castle too, I'd be like, Rob, like it's not Rob. Like I just want to hang out with Rob. Like it is a fair testament too. Like it is it was the perfect traitor because nobody's ever going to suspect him. Everybody likes him. Nobody's ever going to think twice about it because they just want to be around Rob. And it was just the perfect storm for him.
I think he deserves the world. I think he deserves all the credit for how good he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
But Candace handed him a victory today.
Yeah.
For a lot of it too was you can't ask the faithfuls to buy in that he's a traitor with the example she gave. And I think that's the other disappointing aspect of it is I thought that she would at least come to the table with a little bit more of a coherent argument against him, especially somebody that's educated like her, that worked in like the White House, I think is where she worked.
Yeah.
I thought that she would come to the table more than he dropped his fork and he was friends with Colton. Like I think that's also too of just like how stupid it was for her to go through with this, that she really had no plan. And like if that's her plan, if she really didn't want to go home, and part of me thinks that maybe she just wanted to go home at that point, that she wasn't playing with Lisa anymore. That is a possibility too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it made no sense to me what she was trying to go through with. And I like if somebody wants to win that game and wants to stay there, they put that together. They don't go into the round table with that being their argument. And I wonder too if when she said if I am banished tonight, I want to make sure that your name is said. I wonder if production stepped in and be like, hey, you can't do that. Like, so say whatever you're going to say before that, but if you get banished, you cannot say that. I wonder how that works. I wonder what is the situation if a traitor violates that? Like, does the game stop? Do they just reset the placing?
I don't know.
I kind of want to find out, but I don't at the same time because it's like it ruins the integrity of the game.
They must have to like sign something like when they become a traitor that like you're not allowed to expose any of the other traitors, and like you can gun for each other, but you're not allowed to be like, I'm a traitor and so is Rob. Like you can't do that. But going back to the round table, like I see what you're saying, Dylan, too. Like she was trying to come up with things against Rob, but I think it's more of a testament again to how good Rob is playing, because everything he's doing is so sly, so under the radar, that like him dropping his fork, when he said something, he's like, I've dropped 1 million forks in my life. Like he can back up everything, and he doesn't have any true ammo against him. And I think it's just another testament to how well he's playing.
Yeah. Brian, what are your thoughts?
No, yeah, I think you guys covered it. I think, being very handsome and nice gets you a long way in any of these social strategy games. That's the social part of it. He hasn't really made any mistakes, and the biggest hurdle for him was going to be if Candace, kind of exposed him, but it doesn't seem like she did. So I think he's going to have a pretty easy, unless he all of a sudden does something really dumb, which I can't see him doing based on everything we've seen from him so far. I mean, he's going to win. And like you said, Ben, the only question I have now is he going to win by himself, or is he going to win with Eric?
I am shocked to see that we still have 4 episodes left, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like calculate in my head of not to interrupt that, but because to your point, my one thing about Rob is that if he did this, it was too soon. Obviously, he really had no choice with Candace. But was the Lisa too soon? Obviously, probably not, because she put herself in that place too. Everything with Jam happened. I can't believe there's 4 episodes left. That makes me a little bit more nervous, to be honest with you. And that's not counting. I'm not counting the reunion episode. I think that's like, and maybe it's more of an indictment on Traitors itself, but I think Rob not winning because there's just too much time, because maybe he has one slip up overall to like playing an amazing game. But obviously that can happen in Survivor too. It would be a very disappointing end to the season unless we get like a breakout star. Maybe Eric is a insane traitor. I think that would be assuming he doesn't just die willingly.
Yeah, what did you guys think of his choice to pick Eric?
I think it's interesting. I think it's kind of good because they're not really connected in any meaningful way. And, if Eric gets somehow sussed out and gets voted off, I don't think people are going to be like, and he must be working with Rob,
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that Eric and Steven were the two like safe picks, and then Johnny was like the risky pick, as he described. I really liked that he considered Johnny. I think that demonstrates to me that he has like a really good pulse on like the strategy of the game. That he like considered the idea of like recruiting Johnny only to push him under the bus the next round, so that there was a like we talked about this, and they've even mentioned in the castle now a few times the fact that we've now had 3 women traitors banished. Like there is that kind of meta thing playing in the back of people's heads, like, oh, there has to be a male traitor. And so at this point, he's kind of put into a corner where he needs to get like heat onto the men, and then he needs to like focus on murdering the women. Unfortunately, like that's kind of like the dance he has to do. So like the idea of, hey, I should recruit Johnny, push Johnny under the bus, get him banished as a traitor, and then there's less of that heat of like, oh, there has to be a man. I like that idea, but yeah, it is probably too risky. I think that Eric and Steven were the 2 reasonable recruits here.
Right, because I think it puts Rob in more of a position where he can work with Eric for the next couple murders and then see where it goes from there. Because I think he would, I mean, I don't know. I think going to like the final fire with 2 of them, I feel like that can get risky unless I'm trying to remember how it happens. Like at the final fire, like they can still banish someone, right? So like if Rob lays the seed that like it's Eric and then he gets banished at the final fire, but Rob is still there, Rob can still win everything, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, very Suri with
well, with Ari, it's very different because like
what's that?
she browbeated Ari into quitting.
Yeah, right.
Which I think like if we're talking about this is something else I wanted to talk about. Like assuming Rob wins this season, obviously we still have 4 episodes to kind of evaluate him as a player, especially into this end game. It's going to be a big thing because I think Suri's end game was the most impressive part of her win. I think like comparing him to Suri as like who's a better traitor is going to be like a big conversation that happens. And like for me, I've yet to see something that like eclipses Suri browbeating Ari into quitting, because like that was insane. Like like for me, like that's kind of like the balancing act I'm doing in my head of like who's a better player. So that's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see. I feel like Eric's just going to be like Rob's little puppy dog. So I would be really shocked to see him like take this like insane lead and like be really like headstrong with it. Like I just don't see him being very intense. So I'm curious to see what the dynamic switches into.
Yeah. I mean, for me right now, Rob's best end game is going into a final fire with Eric still there, but with like a Mora or a Natalie, and then trying to take like a Mora or a Natalie into a final 2 and like flip on Eric last minute. Like that kind of feels like if he wants the solo win and he doesn't like, like 'cause that's the thing, right? I think he has like a pretty clean path to like a duo in with Eric right now, and it just comes down to like whether he wants to go out of his way to try to get the solo win. And if he does, like that's the play I think is going into a final fire with like a Natalie or a Mora, and then trying to take them to 2.
Right, because like or even planting the seed and getting Eric as like the last banishment.
Yeah.
And then they go into the final fire, because then he can kind of set the precedent of like, we're all walking down there, all faithfuls, blah, blah, blah. And like, especially if he does have like Natalie and Mora with him, they're going to be like, Mora's, they're going to be like, oh, Rob's not a traitor. He's not a traitor. Like she's so gung-ho for Rob that like, that's probably his best person to take with him all the way, because she's never going to question him one bit.
I think she may forgive him too.
If, 100%. Yeah.
That's I think that the only other like really maybe just wild ending would be if she's the one that figures out that he's a traitor and like drives is like that would be it'd be like almost like one of those movies where the side character that you think that's been there the whole time is like the one that pulls the trigger in the end. I think that would be it'd be funny. I guess maybe that's the only reality of Rob not winning this season will be if she takes him out after kind of being like his like sidekick the entire time, and always having his back. I think that would be very funny, and I think that's the only situation of Rob not winning that I would maybe find enjoyable, just because it's so ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's got a good chance. So, and I think we've said it since the beginning. So, and he's held up his end of the deal.
Yeah, we have Daryl in the chat saying a male traitor has to go to make it really easy for Rob to win the fire pit. Yeah, I mean, I think that like the issue is I don't think Eric can go out before Final Fire with the way that things are set up right now. It feels like Johnny is the next logical banishment, and he's going to be banished as a faithful. So either he has to like start preemptively planting the seeds against Eric, which I think is risky, because it creates like incentive for Eric to turn on him, or he just has to be like Steven and or Eric and or Mark or whoever towards the end in the Final Fire was like a traitor and we just weren't told. And I think that also has to be like kind of a narrative he pushes.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I'm curious to see what they do together. So
yeah, what do we think about the mission?
I thought it was all right. It was kind of random, but I feel like it was a little different.
Yeah, it's fun.
I love the mission. I'm glad you brought it up because
yeah.
It's kind of like it kind of really kind of falls to the side with everything else happening in this episode. I thought the mission was fun. Sort of, yeah. I think it was better, less funnier, but better than the xylophone or with Tom last season.
Yeah. Oh God.
I thought that was fun. I can, and I liked how they put similar pictures with the mission to make it seem like not ridiculous that they weren't getting it. I thought that was cool. That was fun. Something like that seems like it would be really fun to play versus some of the other things they have to do.
Yeah, like they don't need to like go through dirt every single time and like do insanely physical challenges. So I think it was something different, interesting, and a little. It's like funny too, but like it was low stakes. So.
It's a good palate cleanser of like the intensity of the everything else going on too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good to see what people would pick up on as like, oh, he's choking him. So that, means this. It's like, oh, that wasn't what he meant to be the focus of it. But people get hung up on certain things, which I thought was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they've done similar missions in other versions of the show, like in Canada and UK versions where they've done like you have to describe a scene underneath like behind a curtain, or you have to describe a painting and then have somebody paint it, and then they get shown the like watercolor painting, and then you have to match the watercolor painting. So there's like certain things there that they've kind of done before that, and I do like this kind of this idea of splitting up like the people guessing and the people like. Creating some kind of scene that they have to guess. Like it pretty much always results in like fun TV where people are getting frustrated that the guessers are not doing a good job, and the guessers are like, "What are the actors doing?" Like it's
yeah.
I'm kind of having. Or you go first.
No, go ahead because what I'm saying is nonsense.
Okay. I was gonna say I'm kind of getting sick of Dorinda. Like her narrative is just all out of whack. Like last week. She refused to vote for Lisa. She threw out a throwaway vote because she's not going to vote out a housewife. And then this week she's like Candace. And it's been like a whole thing all season where people were ripping Lisa apart for voting for Portia in the beginning. And like their housewives don't vote for housewives, like blah, blah, blah. And then Dorinda was like gung-ho on that. Like we don't vote for housewives. And she wasn't going to vote for Lisa last time. Why was she so quick to vote out Candace as a fellow housewife? And I think that's something I feel like that might get brought up at the reunion too, because it's like the housewives are supposed to be like a very open alliance. Like the housewives are never going to vote out a housewife. Why was Dorinda so quick to vote out Candace? And I think it might also speak even more towards everyone really liking Rob too. And it's like, I don't know. That didn't sit right with me.
I hate Dorinda. I think this episode furthered my dislike for her.
Mm-hmm.
I think it all goes back to them, everybody clapping for her when she wasn't married that first night. And I think that she's been really bad this season. I think she's been like they were frustrated with Michael Rappaport being counterproductive to the Faithfuls, which was true. I think Dorinda has been equally as counterproductive for the Faithfuls. I think, once again, when we have like the housewives coming in, it makes for really good TV. But I think oftentimes, as we've seen here, it makes for really bad gameplay. And I think Dorinda is arguably having maybe the worst season of all the housewives, yet she is the last one standing. Yeah, I hope that they just get all the housewives out and say, hey, maybe it was an all housewife turret and Donna Kelsey. That's my hope. Or she's killed. I can't stand Dorinda, especially when that stuff comes out. We don't know for sure with Ron. Ron was my sweetheart, so I think that equally fuels my dislike for her. But yeah, I think the players like Dorinda deserve and should go early. Once again, it adds for a lot of like social fun in the game and kind of some drama. But I'm very much over that housewives stick together and like it's counterproductive to the game. And yeah, Dorinda, I don't know if she has like a temp check on the game or not, or if she understands the game fully. But it's like she's condescending to herself she's contradicting herself every week with what she does.
Right. And it's like you can't refuse to vote out Lisa because she's a housewife and then vote out Candace the next day.
Yeah.
Like and I don't think anyone's really going to even pick up on that. And I would like it if they did, because like she just, I don't know, like there was a reason she was voted out first last season. Like if I mean, she survived, but
production apparently had to step in on some of the things she was saying to Ron, which is extra messed up. And like Dylan said, it makes me not want to root for her either. So hopefully,
what has she done for us to give her our rooting? You know?
Yeah, she's been twice. Like either she's been like all the things she said have been so egregious that they can't be aired, or like they're completely irrelevant strategically, or both. And so yeah, like I actually also agree, like coming in, I expect Dorinda to be murdered. I think she's the very obvious murder for Eric, and like assuming Eric doesn't say no, which I don't know why he would say no. Like, I think Eric and Rob, I think Dorinda is the obvious murder here. And if that is the case, the fact that this season was so set up for the housewives to succeed and none of them are in the end game is like deranged and demonstrably it just shows that like Phaedra is the only like competent housewife to ever be on the show.
No, and she's great too. Like, and I honestly I think Lisa had so much potential, and I think her being a traitor made so much sense. But I think that was also her demise too. Like, it made a lot of sense that she was a traitor. So.
Yeah, it doesn't help when the person who got murdered in plain sight is yelling that it was Lisa.
Literally.
At that point, it's like, well, may as well vote for her.
I mean, we have to give out the theatrics for that still. Like, it's still living in my brain rent free.
It's hilarious. Even when they show it in like the weekly recap, it's still so funny. And I think Jam Jam with Jam Jam's accent makes it like extra
It's
funny.
Lisa. It's Lisa. Yeah.
It's that's the type of stuff I critique the gameplay. That's the type of stuff I still want. Like, I want that ridiculousness. I don't want people trying to purposely expose other players. But in a moment like that, where Jam Jam genuinely thought he was murdered because of the kiss, and if the production allows that, I want more of that. I think that's very, very funny. Sometimes these games aren't fair, and I think Lisa's reaction to it was very, very funny. Once again, Lisa, I give Lisa a solid B overall for the character and the entertainment she brought for the season. I think that she was not a terrible traitor. Whereas in the end, I think that Candace, her gameplay was exposed, and I think that Candace was a very bad traitor in the end. But I think Lisa deserved a lot of credit. Lisa was a great character, and I think she was a great kind of like essentially a main character to get us to this point. So I need positive things to say about the Housewives too, and I think it was definitely that. I think Lisa was a lot of fun, and she maybe went at the perfect time, but I miss her and the things she brought in the game.
Yeah, she was fun, and it's like Big Brother when someone gets evicted and on their way out, they're like, "That person's running the game. Everyone needs to go after him." Who knows? Maybe it would have worked, maybe not. It did work, obviously, but probably Jam Jam's best moment on a kind of underrated season for him, where he didn't really do much. I had high hopes for him because I consider him a very good winner of Survivor, but wasn't really much. Now all we have is Natalie left. I hope she can survive for a while,
Yeah, people are ripping her apart online. Like her outfits are terrible, and people are just constantly fashion policing
Natalie's.
her.
Oh,
Oh, they're terrible, awful. It's giving Fabletics Fashion Nova.
Yeah.
Like she's wearing
Well,
like
she's a
athleisure with
personal
like a
trainer, so.
cargo coat. Yeah, like people are ripping her apart on the internet, and I think it's actually kind of funny because it's very accurate.
I have seen that. I don't care about the fashion, but I do think she's had some interesting outfits. But also, don't forget, I don't know if they dress themselves. I assume they're given options.
I think they dress. But also like the housewives, like that's their brand. Like they have the budget. They're gonna dress themselves up because that's what they do. And like you think of like the guys, like Steven's usually just wearing like a sweater, and like Rob's usually just wearing his overalls. But that's so Rob. Like they certainly dress themselves, but some people are just better at it than others. Like Maura. That is a Maura Higgins outfit every single day, like for sure. So,
I think the Survivor players in this season were very disappointing. Obviously, Rob Sesternino kind of really can't give him like an actual grade because he was voted out, and they knew that he would probably be very good at this game. I think Natalie has been the biggest disappointment for me, but by far, I think that the past 3 episodes really have not been good for her. I think her voting for Tara today was really like you have no gauge on the game at all at this point.
Yeah.
I think people should rightfully go after Natalie next week too, saying what was that vote? Why did you not vote for Candace? Because if they're going to go after Candace for not voting for Natalie or Lisa last week, you have to go after Natalie for voting for Tara this week because it was. Really dumb. And I think the freak out last week with Natalie and kind of her fumbling her words was really bad. It's a very disappointing showing for who was like one of my favorite Survivor players. And Jam, I didn't have the same expectations for Jam, but he at least was entertaining and made things fun. And I didn't necessarily think that Natalie would be the funny person, but I think her gameplay as a social and physical game player, I think her social gameplay and everything involved with it has been really, really bad. And I think that that's been really disappointing.
Yeah, I feel like Rob read her like a book during the dagger competition. Like, I think people were watching it back and they're like, he just could tell right away that she had it. So I mean, I don't know. I didn't get that vibe when I watched it, but I feel like Rob is just outplaying all of the gamers. And you would never think that he was on Love Island of all things. So,
yeah. Well, apparently he wanted to be on Survivor. That's what I've read a lot. So, Jeff, call him up. I think he'd be great.
Oh, he would be good. Yeah, for sure.
Season 53 or whatever. Have 51 and 52 filmed yet? I don't know.
No, they've probably gotten cast already, but they're probably maybe like late into casting.
Yeah, I mean, I could honestly even see him on Big Brother too. I think he would do well on Big Brother as well.
Yeah, he'd do really well on Big Brother.
But it would be like the same thing as Traitors. Like everyone's just gonna be like, Rob, Rob,
well,
you can have had a household. Rob, just have it. Here you go.
I mean, I would say that if he wasn't on Traitors right now, but I think coming off of the season, especially if and when he wins, like I think any future reality show, he's going to be under a much stronger microscope.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Because people will know it is his ability. But yeah, no, with Natalie, it is disappointing. Natalie is one of my favorite Survivor players of all time. Obviously, I also loved her on Amazing Race and stuff. But like, I think her biggest issue is she never really seemed to get a social footing in this house. Like it seemed like her only close ally in like the early to mid part of the game was Monet, who ends up getting murdered relatively early, and now she's kind of in a position where she's fallen into the lap of a traitor and is kind of seemingly getting like strung along by Rob. So like I just don't know what her end game plan is. Like her only chance at this point is to realize like at some point that Rob is a traitor, like basically like last minute, and try to flip it on him like at Final Fire and get into a final 2 or 3 with other faithfuls. Like it's like a very, very narrow path.
Yeah. I also just thought, was Eric in that Dagger Alliance?
Yes, the Dagger Alliance.
Okay. Yeah.
It's Rob, Eric, Steven, Mark, Natalie.
Yeah. Okay.
and then Colton, but Colton's gone now.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So it's pretty much a majority alliance at the moment.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So the only people that aren't in it are Dorinda, Mara, Tara, and Johnny.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Ben, did you want to talk about Tara and Johnny?
Yeah, I mean, I at the very least appreciated that Tara and Johnny seemed to be self-aware in this episode that they were horrible at the game. Because like last week, I made a post about like how I didn't realize that you could get CTE so easily from figure skating because of how badly they've been playing the entire season. And yeah, I mean, at the very least, they've kind of noticed. I think that like it's good that they didn't, like kind of fall into the same trap they did with the Lisa vote, where especially Tara did end up voting Candace out here, and both of them did. But like Johnny now does have so much sus on him because he was so close to the traitors who end up going out back to back here. And because both Tara and Johnny are still in the game so late, like it definitely comes off like one of them is a traitor, which I think is good. It's good gameplay that the traitors kept them around for so long. And it also, to me, is the reason why I think it makes sense that Dorinda is the more logical kill. It keeps Tara and Johnny both there so that they can have sus on Johnny. Kirsten is the other person. Kristen is still the other person who's we didn't mention. Kristen would also be a decent kill, but she has a shield. And then I don't think Rob is going to want to get rid of Moira here because I think that she's the person that he's probably pulling into an end game. So kind of by process of elimination, the murder has to be Dorinda.
And it should be. Yeah, like I'm done with her.
I think Dorinda or Mark, but I think that they realize that Mark has so much faith, at least in Rob. I don't think that they'll kill Mark. I feel pretty confident. I kind of like that layout of I do think next episode is most likely Dorinda Johnny 1-2 because obviously Johnny would be probably the worst kill at this point because he's the only one that really seemingly has the spotlight on him. Like we've said, they're probably going to be going for a male. It does not seem like overall. I think I would have. I think I said I would have liked Mark more as a recruit, mainly because it would have been so random. And I think Mark is so clearly a faithful at that point. But I do think you have to get into worrying about how faithful are these people if I try to recruit them, though, because then are they just going to self-sabotage? And I think that's a very realistic concern with some of the people that are left.
Yeah, my worry with a Mark recruit is he is seemingly so close to Kristen, like that is like a duo, whereas Eric doesn't really have an obvious duo. And like, so if you're Rob and you recruit Mark and then you kind of go into an endgame with him and you don't have an opportunity to murder or banish Kristen at any point, like now it's kind of getting a little sketchy where Mark might have some footing to like flip it on you at the last minute. Whereas with Eric, I don't know if he has like a person like that he can, use as a cudgel against Rob in an endgame. So I for that reason, I preferred an Eric or a Steven as well, was somebody I was looking at. Well, I think might have been slightly better than Eric, but I think it's really close.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little surprised that he picked Eric, but I think it'll be fine. I'm not insanely concerned about it. I think they need to get Dorinda out just for personal reasons. And then I do think Johnny is probably the next hit. And do you guys think that anyone else in the house really either knows or cares that Johnny and Tara are like best friends?
No.
They probably know. Because I was talking to my mom last night. And I was like, "Oh, the Olympics are starting. The Traitors have these people," and she knew their names. Like, so I was like, "All right, so maybe people do know who they are." I wouldn't have known for sure, but
yeah. Well, because Ian knew who Tara was right off the bat.
Yeah.
Also, the upset. I knew who Johnny was. I knew who Johnny was. Right. I did not know Tara. I actually didn't know that they were BFFs until it was said. It might have been said in the first episode. I didn't catch it, but they said it again recently, and that's when I was like, "Oh, okay." They're both. I think they have brought good comedy to the game. I think that they are not. I don't hold them to the same critique that I just said about the Housewives, where I think that the way that they're playing the game is kind of ruining it, like it is for like the Dorinda and the way I said she was playing the game. I think that they're more so kind of just like, they don't really have a gauge on the game, but they're having fun. And I think that people like them. And I think that that makes for fun TV to watch. They're not playing good at all, but that's fine. Like, not everybody can play good. And once again, that shows, it's a testament to how good the Traitors have played to this point. They have really kind of taken out everybody that's a threat, that has a pulse check on the game itself. Which is why, yes, the Faithfuls have been really bad, but they've also kind of really lost a lot of the players that they needed to do well at these points. So Johnny and Tara, that's
Johnny, or rather, very tough for Eric, not being able to identify who was laughing correctly, not being able to identify the handwriting correctly. Not great.
Yeah.
The handwriting was very funny. It's kind of like, it sums up the entire season that the Faithfuls just have absolutely, even when it's being literally just thrown in their face, they don't know who it is. Him thinking that it was Johnny's handwriting is very funny. But that's part of the reason I'm actually very happy Eric is a traitor, because I think Eric has been a great narrator for the season. He's brought a lot of comedy in his confession. So that alone has me very excited. I don't know. I think I think that it can go several different ways for Rob with Eric, and I think that all of them are entertaining, and I think all of them likely result in Rob being victorious. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think that, like, it's actually funny because when you said that you knew who Johnny was but did not Tara, I'm the opposite. I knew who Tara Lipinski was, but Johnny Weir was like a name that I had heard. But like I didn't really know him like as much, whereas like Tara Lipinski is like, that was like, you say Tara Lipinski, I'm like, oh yeah, the figure skater.
Yeah. She's kind of like a Nancy Kerrigan name in like the figure skating world. Like, it's like she was like our generation's Nancy Kerrigan.
I guess like I'm like looking at pictures of her when she was younger and in the Olympics. I guess maybe
I mean, she was in the Olympics when she was like 12, I think, or something crazy. Yeah.
I remember there being like, because I remember, I don't remember if we were the same age. I think she's older than I am, but I remember someone very young being in the Olympics. So I guess that I generally felt like I had never heard her before. Not to, I'm not a great Olympic historian, but Johnny I've seen, I think he's on NBC a lot, right? He's on like one of the Olympic shows all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're both commentating. I think they're commentating this figure skating event this weekend. Something like that. I know they did promo for the Olympics, I'm pretty sure. So
yeah,
it would make sense. I mean, it would be good press for the Olympics too.
Yeah, we have a comment in the chat here that there's something I also thought about bringing up is the idea of Eric's edit, like making it kind of impossible for him to be a winner. I think that his edit makes it impossible for him to be a solo traitor winner.
Yeah,
like I don't think that he would be clowned on this much if he solo won, but I think that like there's precedent for him being like a tag along duo winner with Rob, because you even just like look at last season where you have like Dolores and Ivar who were like not treated seriously by the edit for the majority of the season, and they end up being the winners, like co-winners, and like, but the narrative of the show was very much Dylan and Gabby won, and also Dolores and Ivar were there, as opposed to the four of them won together. So like I could see it in a similar vein being like a duo traitor win, where like it's Rob wins and Eric is also there. Yeah,
fair. But I think it would be satisfying for, I think, everyone, including Rob, if Rob was the solo winner.
Yeah, no, I think that would definitely be more satisfying. It would definitely make analyzing him as a player a lot more compelling.
Mm-hmm.
The realism of the situation too is, assuming Dorinda is killed, pretty much everybody left are players that I like. So there are going to be people that it's going to suck to see go, and I imagine it's going to suck for Rob to have to cut. So I think outside of Moira, or I think, or Myra, however you say her name, I'm still suck on Schitt's Creek that I've been watching this week.
Rest in peace.
Think yes. I think it's gonna be sad to see the rest of this cast go once Dorinda's cut, because like I said, they've all added their own element. I think even Natalie, I'll just be sad to go because it's Natalie, even if she hasn't played a very good game. I think that we're in the point now where each vote either is going to be intense, or it's as a viewer, or it's going to be like, okay, like let's just get to the next episode for Rob, because it's like I like everybody that's left for their own reasons, and so that's gonna suck. But once again, I think that is why Rob's doing such a great job, and the Traitors are to this point doing such a great job because everyone's likable, but I think a lot of them are kind of like likable losers to this season, if that makes sense. So yeah, I agree. I think a solo Rob win is going to be the most satisfying, but I feel like things are going to be like a little like Rob clearly wants to be liked. I think that he is like somebody that likes to be friendly and liked by people, and so I think that even though I think he will cut the head off the snake if he needs to, I think that he's not going to necessarily enjoy what is coming after those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I think he demonstrated, especially in this episode, that he sees this as a game, though, and like, I think like if he's put into a position where he feels like he has to or should cut Eric, like I don't think he'll really like be too worried about doing that from like a personal or like an emotional perspective. I think that he just might not see it as necessary if he doesn't care much about getting like a duo versus a solo win. But I think if he's in a position where like if it's him or Eric, like he will 1000% like toss Eric under the bus without really thinking.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
You're muted, Brian.
My bad, guys. Anything else we wanted to touch on for this one? I think we covered it pretty thoroughly.
I think that's it. I really enjoyed this episode. Like I said, I actually think I enjoyed it overall more than last week. Even though last week had some really great cinematic moments. I think that the intensity from beginning to end of this episode was really good with Candace and Rob, and like it was a great challenge. It was a very good episode. Very good. I'm like, this is one of my more favorite seasons of reality TV recently. Honestly, even up against like what we've said have been the better seasons of Survivor, it's been really like a really great watch. So that's always a plus.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely, like this definitely is in contention for my favorite US season. And I think like I've been enjoying I've been enjoying it more than I expected to, given the boot order and who I came in expecting to root for.
I also like Hot Rob Daryl. So I agree with you there. Like I said, he is an impressive specimen. I talk about this man a lot throughout the week too, because people at work are starting to get into Traitors. So like I'm pretty much once a day, honestly, I'm talking to somebody about Rob R, which is I did not think I would be doing that at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I was getting Rob thirst traps when I was watching him on Love Island, and now I'm getting them again, and it's honestly it's nice, it's refreshing, and it's good content. So my TikTok knows me, my FBI agent feeds me the content that I want to see, and that's what I see. So
mine is altered forever because of this now with Rob. So.
Oh man! All right, Ben. Anything you want to promote before we get out of here?
No, we got Survivor 50 coming up soon. Also, I've been watching Extracted season 2, which has been very fun. We got Sandra and her daughter Nina on that.
Is Annalise also on the season?
She is, yes.
Random, random.
Yes, definitely. Like it's very interesting. Through 2 episodes of Extracted so far, Sis has been more present than she was basically the entirety through 60 days of BB21 as a strategist. So
all I remember of her from Big Brother was when they were like, "Oh, it's the shortest day of the year," and she's like, "That's good. We don't have to be here longer." And they're like, in terms of daylight, not in terms of time.
Yeah, no, I mean it is very odd to have a player who was best known from Big Brother for like having a lot of sex in the shower on a stool, like basically come in and be like, "Oh my God, she was on Big Brother. She's such a threat." And it's like, well, I don't know about that.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
All right.
Yeah, so random. I got to catch up with Extracted.
Yeah, very good show. It's it's way better than it should be, I would say.
I've been watching Beast Games, and I'm only 3 episodes in, but the survivors are falling left and right. There were a lot of them, but it's not going so well.
Is that Mr. Beast's thing?
Yeah.
Worth
It's
watching
fine.
or not really?
It's fine. It's not. It's just so random, and each round is a different game to where people get eliminated. So there's just so much variance that you can't really be like, this person's really good at the game or really bad at the game. It's just like, hopefully they get put in a good position to succeed with whatever random game Mr. Beast comes up with,
Yeah.
Yeah. So after I finish that, I'll catch up on Extracted. But yeah, Julia, anything you want to promote?
Yeah, my podcast, The Sure Thing, we released a new episode this week, our second episode, and we're going for episode number 3 next week. So
Awesome.
So far, so good. The people are
Hell
liking
yeah.
what they're hearing. So
Love to hear that.
Yeah, also in the chat, really quickly before we go, there was leaked the idea that season 6 of the Traitors is going to be an all-star season, and a bunch of big names are being contacted for that. So that's going to be very exciting.
Yes, that would be great. And Dylan, anything you want to promote?
We're 2.5 weeks away. Yeah, 2.5 weeks away now from Survivor 50. So our other podcast, The Blindsiders, this is what we've been building towards, right? The past 5 years of weeding through the slop of New Era Survivor. So a lot of highs, or a lot of lows, some highs. So I am mentally, physically, emotionally ready for season 50. I've consumed, I feel like, everything I can. I've talked myself into a Coach Ben Wade victory for Survivor season 50. That is going to be I'm more excited for Survivor 50 than I am the Super Bowl, and I'm a Patriots fan. So that is
once you win 5 or 6 of those, whatever, right?
But even then, the Super Bowl is the Super Bowl, but Survivor 50 is it's a very big deal for Survivor fans, and I think that it's going to be a really fun season for us to talk about. So please follow us at the Blindsiders, same channel on YouTube, bit of radio. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, cannot wait for season 50. As for me, main channel, Wicked Good Everything, video game essays and news and all that over there. Those Fake Nerds, similar nerd pop culture news. Been posting a lot on that channel, so go check that out. Wicked Good Sports for all our sports news. This is, of course, Better Radio, which hosts all of our podcasts. And yeah, thank you so much for checking this one out, and we will see you in the next one.